that would be the worst way to handle it.
We're going to talk more about this. We are going to talk to Kimberley Martin of Newsday as soon as we take this break and talk about the Jets' first game, which they won. But, hey, maybe they should have won bigger. We don't know. We'll talk to Kimberley in a couple of minutes. You're listening to From the Press Box. My name is Rob Leonard. My co-host is Tim Leonard. If you have a question or whatever, 516-572-7440. Tune in to Thunder Road for...
The heart-stopping, band-stropping, arm-rocking, earth-shocking, booty-shaking, love-making, Viagra-taking, history-making, legendary.
Join me, Kim Tracy, for the music of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on Thunder Road, Thursdays at 11 p.m. and Sundays at 1 p.m. on 90.3 WHPC, and streaming at ncc.edu/WHPC.
Hi, this is Rabbi Pearl. Join me each Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for Jewish Talk. This program lasts 30 minutes, but its wisdom lasts a lifetime. So tell your friends and neighbors to tune in on Sundays at 9 a.m. on 90.3 FM for Jewish Talk with Rabbi Pearl. Don't forget, it's Sundays, 9 a.m. on 90.3 FM for the program that speaks in English but thinks in Yiddish.
Break out the mood rings and slip on the platform shoes. It's the Super 70s, the decade that brought us Elton John, Donnie Marie, and Fonzie are back on WHPC. Join me, Ron Stevens, as we count down the top 20 hits of a featured week and hear lots of bonus hits from that memorable decade. So listen to the Super 70s on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College.
The Super 70s, Tuesday at 12 a.m. and Saturday at 7 a.m. on 90.3 WHPC.
And welcome back to From the Press Box. I'm Rob Leonard, and of course my co-host is Tim Leonard. And yes, we are brothers.
I love this song.
It's such a good song.
Because you know what, this song, not only is it a great song because it's about New York, this song means victory.
Oh, yeah, I know. Anyway, let's talk about victory because the Jets actually won something yesterday.
Oh, quality segue.
And we're going to talk to Kimberley Martin. She is the Newsday beat writer for the Jets. Kimberley, welcome to From the Press Box.
Hi, how are you guys?
Kimmer!
Hi, Timmer.
Don't Timmer and Kimmer. Come on.
Anyway,
what happened with the Jets yesterday? They won.
They did, yes, they did.
Wow,
win.
great question.
They did win. Rex thought it should be a quote-unquote rat tail. He thought they should have stomped the Raiders, and they did not. They only won 19-14, but, at the end of the day, a win is a win, but Rex and company still aren't happy about how they won.
Is Rex ever happy? Let's be honest.
Rex is always happy.
You know what's funny? It was actually really interesting to see him at the press conference last night, or yesterday afternoon, because he wasn't really happy. And, Rex is one of those, likes to talk about the positives, and he always says, you know what, we may not have played our best, but shoot, we'll take it. Yesterday he said the same thing, but he really harped on, the turnovers, the lack of defensive takeaways, the penalties, so he really wasn't a happy camper yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, only 2 sacks yesterday? I mean, and this is against a rookie quarterback. I was a little surprised by that one, that they didn't, maybe get to Carr a little bit more and also kind of bring the heat a little bit more.
Yeah, they've, I think, not just that, they did bring the pressure. They really did confuse the kid, in the second half. You really saw a difference in how Carr started the game. I think he started 7 for 7, for the game, which was a little surprising, being that he is a rookie against a Rex Ryan defense. But I think Rex was even more upset about, you had you had a couple dropped interceptions. The rookie safety, Calvin Pryor, he had an interception right in his gut, and he just dropped it. The kid even told us, I was seeing pick six, I was seeing the end zone on the other end of the field, and I just completely lost focus. Kyle Wilson also dropped one on the sideline. So, yes, they did. The defense felt really confident heading into this game. Antonio Allen told me last week, yeah, we can rattle Derek Carr. We can rattle any quarterback. So you did see them get, disguise some things. They were really, getting at Carr in the second half. But like you said, not a lot of sacks, definitely no takeaways, which is a big sticking point for Rex.
Yeah, for sure. Talk about Gino, because I mean, his numbers look good. I mean, did you get a sense that there has been a progression for him between last year and this year? I mean, this was, I don't really take exhibition games for anything. So, I mean, this to me was really the first chance that we've gotten to see him since last year. And I mean, the numbers 23 for 28 for 221 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, it certainly seems like he's kind of made a jump this season so far.
Yeah, it's tough because I definitely think Gino, being in the locker room and talking to him, he definitely is a lot more confident in himself. He's always been a confident kid, but I think this training camp, he really, his teammates sensed it, the coaches sensed it. And when they started the game, they started really quick, their first drive, couple completions, and it's like even with, some penalties, it's like, oh, this offense looks really good. They're on a roll. Then you have a holding penalty by Cologne. You have Salas dropping the touchdown, an easy touchdown in the end zone. And you're kind of feeling like, wow, they obviously have made upgrades on offense, but, you have Gino, the interception to Woodson, you have the fumble. It almost seems like, wow, this is exactly what he did in the first opener of last year as a rookie. But I think this Geno Smith was able to bounce back, which his teammates did talk about. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of these passes that you're seeing, they're not airing it out downfield. It's a lot of screen passes, a lot of short passes. It's not, throwing the guys deep on the sidelines or anything, back shoulder stuff. So is Smith improved? Yes, but I think after one game, I think there's still a lot of question marks. And is he a game manager? Like David Nelson told me after the game, he told a couple reporters, oh, yes, Smith did a good job of managing the game. And that was something we heard with Sanchez for a lot of those, for the time that he was here.
Right, I was going to say that.
Right, so I'm not completely convinced that, Geno Smith is the end-all, be-all, but it's still early in his second year,
But that seems to be kind of the hallmark for Rex Ryan teams. The Jets have never had a quarterback, and maybe the quarterback would be given a bigger role if they did have him. But like we just said, Sanchez was kind of the game manager, and it almost was his job to not screw things up and just do what you need to do. And yesterday, the rushing game it was more than I forget the exact number, but more than 200 yards rushing. So I mean, it sounds like the ground and pound, if that's where they still want to go with it, then your quarterback is going to be a game manager because he's not going to be called upon to throw the deep pass, and it's just a matter of moving the ball downfield and getting first downs.
Right, exactly. They had 212 rushing yards, which was bananas.
Nothing wrong with that.
Chris Ivory, he rushed for 102 yards himself and had that 71-yard touchdown. So.
Yeah, let me stop you there for one second. What was Chris Ivory doing around the 30 or 40-yard line? He motioned to somebody. I'm like, what's this dude doing? They're catching up to him.
We were debating that in the press box after the game. Like, what was he doing? He was sort of pointing up, pointing up at the sky, like celebratory type of thing. But he did it way too soon, and he admitted that. To his credit, he said, you know what? As soon as I did it, I realized I messed up. But
it's like, Grandpa, how you like me now? I mean, come on, man, get to the end zone.
Yeah, but he's such a powerful force that even though he, got wrapped up at the end, he was still able to cross the goal line and score the touchdown, which I think I don't think we're going to see that again from Chris Ivory.
Let's hope not, anyway. The other couple of guys I want to talk about were Chris Johnson, 15 carries for 68 yards, which is a pretty nice debut for him, and also Eric Decker, who I think did a pretty nice job. 5 catches, 74 yards. I mean, he didn't get a touchdown, but is Decker, do they want him to be like a 10-catch kind of guy, or is it just going to be like whatever he can fill in with the offense? Because obviously he was signed for big money, but is he that kind of receiver where he's going to dominate a game? I mean, I don't necessarily think he is, but he's still obviously the best option the Jets have.
Yeah, I think, nobody is really expecting Decker to kind of dominate a game. He wasn't that in Denver, and he's been very cautious about saying, I don't look at myself as a number one receiver here. Like, we all are just part of the puzzle here, and we all expect to contribute. So the Jets need him to be a number one receiver, but at the same time, like we were talking about earlier, Rex is all about the ground and pound. This team is set up. They want their rushing game to sort of carry the team and have, offensive weapons on the outside and stuff like that. So is Decker really going to take over a game? I don't see it. I could be wrong, but I don't see the play calling the way it's set up. I don't see Decker is going to come in one day and have like 12, 13 catches, in a game for 100. You know what I mean?
Right, He's not Megatron.
Yeah.
We're talking with Kimberly Martin. She is the Newsday Jets beat writer, and we thank you for joining us today, Kimberly. We've been talking about offense with the Jets. The Jets held the Raiders to 25 yards rushing, pretty damn good. I know the Raiders aren't a great team this year, but how did the defense look as a general look, so to speak?
Yeah, this was an interesting game. Coming into training camp, there were already questions about their secondary, and that was with a healthy D. Milner, starting at corner.
Right.
So now that you have D. Milner out with a high ankle sprain, and I got to be honest, I'm not feeling too good about him playing against the Packers next week. The kid hasn't practiced at all since he suffered the high ankle sprain. I think it was August 10th. So I don't know. They haven't ruled him out for Sunday yet. It's way too early, but you don't know how D. Milner is, and you had a converted safety that's now converted a cornerback in Antonio Allen. He started. Darren Wall started, he's been a backup since he's been here with the Jets. So it was a really good day, save for that late touchdown by the Raiders. I think it was James Jones. That was just an acrobatic play. I don't know how many cornerbacks are going to be able to stop that touchdown. But, for what it was, I thought the front seven did its job. The 25 rushing yards, incredible. The Jets, their defense is really good against the run. So I think if you're Dennis Thurman, the defensive coordinator, if you're the secondary coach, Tim McDonald, I think you feel good about what you saw because the young guys had to step up and prove that they weren't the weak links. And they proved that. But again, it's the Raiders, and not trying to knock the Raiders. But, they spent a lot of money in the offseason to improve their team, and they have a rookie quarterback. This is not the Aaron Rodgers Packers team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So next week is going to be a really big test for this defense.
Well, that's kind of where I wanted to go with the next question. Is because obviously the Jets can hide the deficiencies that they have in their secondary against a team that is the caliber of the Raiders. But are they going to have to really come at the Packers with just like a jailbreak kind of pass rush to try and limit the amount of time that Rodgers has to throw and cover up the deficiencies that are there? Otherwise, it seems to me like a guy like Rodgers is just going to pick apart that secondary next week.
Yeah, I would expect if I'm a quarterback, if I'm an offensive coordinator that's about to go up against the Jets, I would pick on Kyle Wilson. I would pick on these young defensive backs. And Derek Carr didn't really do that. And again, he's young. They're not going to throw out the whole playbook, So with Aaron Rodgers, he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing, and the Jets have got to get pressure, and not just pressure. They need to get quarterback hits. They need to really disrupt Aaron Rodgers, because if they can get to him, then their whole back end is exposed. And I think Aaron Rodgers, he's of that caliber where he can pick apart a defense. And the Jets have a very tough stretch of quality QBs coming up. So Derek Carr is just, that was. No offense, but that was nothing compared to what they're going to see coming up.
Yeah, I think I saw that in one of your articles last week where, unfortunately, Jay Cutler was included in that group, and I was kind of like, wait, where'd that come from?
Well,
that's kind of the skip over week there, as far as I'm concerned.
He's not on the Peyton Manning level, but I wouldn't take him if I were the Jets. I wouldn't look past him.
True. Two quick questions before we let you go here. What is a rat kill? Because Rex was quoted as saying it should have been a rat kill, and I was reading that quote and just puzzled because I have no idea what that even means.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was just a generational thing when he said it, because a lot of us were like, when was the last time you ever heard rat kill? But pretty much he just expected it to be a beatdown, and it was not. And he was very upset about the fact that they did not destroy the Raiders, especially after Austin Howard, the ex-Jet, came in, having said, I think we'll be able to push the Jets around a little bit. That seemed to get under Rex's skin why it was said in jest. Apparently, his former teammates didn't think it was that big a deal, but